After all this time, Dennis, with the coronavirus and the shutdowns and New York and everything we've been through here, people have really reached the breaking point with this stuff. They just can't take it anymore. And so, yeah, it's a downer back here in New York, but it's a downer because Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio just won't let it go.
Your column today, which is why I called you, is Joe Biden is the shutdown candidate. I just spoke to Steve Cortez of the campaign, and I think that they should make this point every day, all day. You elect the Democrats, and you ain't seen nothing yet in the crushing of your freedom and your economy. Why don't they make that point regularly?
That's a good question. I think maybe certainly the Trump campaign is disorganized now with Bill Stepien, the campaign manager, testing positive, the president himself. So I'm not sure they're quite clear on which direction they're going in, not to mention dropping out of next week's town hall. But I agree with you. I think this is a vulnerability for the Democratic Party, led by Joe Biden now. It jumped out at me in last week's non-debate. The one thing Biden said that seemed clear was you cannot fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And last night in the debate between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, the first thing Susan Page asked Kamala Harris was whether you and your boss, Joe Biden, would support further shutdowns under some circumstances. And then she completely ducked that question. She wouldn't answer it. The clear implication being that when governors like Andrew Cuomo re-shut down states or cities like New York, Joe Biden is going to stand aside and let them do it no matter what the economic damage. And, the country is kind of at a point where they just beginning to feel they're emerging from this crisis. You've got the prospect of significant therapies like the one Trump himself took, the monoclonal antibodies. We've been hearing this from doctors for weeks, that this was an extremely promising therapy. It looks like it worked pretty well for him. The vaccines are coming online. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. But as you suggest, the Democrats, led by Joe Biden, seem to make the tunnel run forever.
What's in it for them? I think part of it is that they are the scared people, but I think part of it is that they benefit from it, but I can't put my finger on it other than to say the more people out of work or the more small businesses that fail, the more people depend on government, and that's in the Democrats' interest. Is that cynical?
I don't think it's cynical. I think it's basically realistic. I mean, between Nancy Pelosi and the stimulus bill and Joe Biden and his economic plan, their theory of reality seems to be that bowing to something they call science, we can shut down the economy more or less indefinitely and make up the difference in lost incomes and the rest of it with direct outlays by the federal government.
Hold on there, if you will. Keep that thought down. I got to take a break.